time is over. The image of the beast was formed in November 2022, and according to scripture, the image of the beast lasts only 1 year. Daniel 3 and Esther 3 confirmed this fact. The International Sunday Law is about to be enforced. The prophetic days found in the book of Daniel, the chapter 12, has begun with the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, and the 1290 days are about to end. And once these days will end, the beast will start persecuting God's people. This is God's divine calendar. The reason why Satan has changed God's calendar and replaced it with a pagan calendar is because the plan of salvation is revealed in God's divine calendar. God's plan of salvation is found in His Word, in His calendar. If you want to know what is going to happen in the coming months, you better understand God's divine calendar. And you better understand that Christians should not be celebrating Christmas, Mother's Day, and all this pagan feast. Christ was crucified on Passover, resurrected on first fruit, and on the day of Pentecost, the disciples received the baptism of God's Spirit. More recently, in the year 1844, Christ entered the most holy place. Now, what will happen on the Feast of Trumpets and on the coming Day of Atonement and the Feast of Tabernacles? Let me tell you what is going to happen. On or around the Feast of Trumpets, the International Sunday Law, the mark of the beast, will be enforced upon the world. There is 10 days from the Feast of Trumpets to the Day of Atonement. We have 10 days. And during those 10 days, the saints will be persecuted. We will have 10 days of tribulation from the Feast of Trumpets to the Day of Atonement. This will be the antitype of Nero's persecution in the first century. Revelation 2 verse 10, 10 days of persecution from Feast of Trumpets to Day of Atonement. And on the Day of Atonement, Christ will leave the most holy place. And when Christ will leave the most holy place, the 7 plagues will be falling upon the earth for 7 days. And 7 days later, right in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles, I believe that Christ will return and take his children home. Praise be the name of God. Praise be the name of God, for he does nothing unless he reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Now, from the Day of Atonement to the Feast of Tabernacles, we got 5 days. So, the day on which we have the Day of Atonement is day 1, Then we have day 2, day 3, day 4, and on day 5, the last 3.5 days of persecution will start. We will have 3.5 days of persecution. Why? We read in... So, before I go there, let me remind you that Christ's disciples were in great tribulation for exactly 3.5 days. So it is the antitype of their tribulation. From the moment Christ was taken to the leaders of Israel at night to the moment he was resurrected, there was exactly 3.5 days. So it is the antitype of the disciples' 3.5 days of tribulation. And this one is the antitype of Nero's persecution in the 1st century. So we read that there will be half an hour of silence in heaven. This half an hour of silence in heaven equal 7 days, 1 week. And this 1 week, half an hour, will start on the 10th day of the 7th month, which means that it will start on the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement is celebrated, or should I say, take place on the 10th day of the 7th month. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, I believe that Christ will come again. For those who don't know, Christ was resurrected on the 17th day of the 1st month, and Noah entered the ark on the 10th day of the 2nd month. And then on the 17th day of the 2nd month still, the flood came and swept them all away. All of the wicked ones were swept away by the flood on the 17th day of the 2nd month. And 5 months later, on the 17th day of the 7th month, Feast of Tabernacles, the flood was over. Now, I want you to understand this before I close this presentation. I am not setting a date. I'm not 100% sure that Christ will return by this date. The only thing I am sure of is that Christ will return before the end of the 1,335 days.